want to ask you to say something about the difference between New Paradigm and Reiki system.
Ooh, what a question.
I know it's a sensitive question, but I think people deserve to know the true view from your point of view and experience.
Okay, well, I am willing to share it. It can be quite a controversial subject.
Yes.
And I must admit that I've had quite a bit of criticism over it over the years, but it doesn't really bother me. In fact, I've even had death threats over it.
Wow.
But anyway, I'll be back. So, but to be more serious in it, now Reiki was a fantastic thing, and so we have to acknowledge that.
Yes.
And it actually started to spread a whole lot of awareness of a different way of doing things on planet Earth. It became really, really popular, and actually triggered a lot of people into searching for themselves or searching for expanded reality and so on. So, like I said, that has to be acknowledged. Now, what I understand about it myself and my own experience is that, you know, Reiki is like kind of, shall we say, in inverted commas, marketed as a one-size-fits-all situation. So in other words, like the theory or the philosophy is that if you do this, well, this will happen. If you do this, this will happen. And everybody, it will work the same for everybody. Now, in this system as well, they also use symbolic images or symbols, commonly known as in the Reiki thing. And in fact, in Shambhala MDH, we actually used them in the beginning.
Yes.
And so, you know, like I'm not completely anti or anything like this. But as things developed on planet Earth, as the energy started to change on planet Earth and change actually in our universe, one thing that became very obvious was that these symbols actually, when they were put into your energy system, like limited the frequencies of energy that you could receive or grant or work with, however you'd like to look at it. Now, from my own personal experience of this, now, I never was a Reiki person. I did actually go to one Reiki workshop years and years ago because somebody I knew was facilitating it and they only had 2 people. I met them in the street in Glastonbury in England and said, "Oh, what are you doing?" She said, "Oh, I'm doing a Reiki workshop. I've only got 2 people." I said, I'm doing nothing, I'll come. But it was Reiki 1, so there was no discussion of symbols in Reiki 1 in those days. So, in my own experience now, when I founded Shambhala MDH, also as well, like for credibility, or street cred, as we say in English slang, it was said that I should be a Reiki master. Well, the thing was, I was told that there was no Reiki master on the planet that could give me anything. And I was also told by our upstairs department sponsor, being commonly known as Germain, that I should not accept any symbols in my energy system. Well, okay, I need a piece of paper. How am I going to get it? Like, no sane Reiki master is going to give a troublesome person like me just a certificate. How am I going to do it? So anyway, through some manoeuvring with the upstairs department and contacts and all that, a lady agreed that she would see about it. So I actually drove up I was living in North London at the time, and I drove up into Northern England, went to see this lady, and she said, well, she also had connections with the upstairs department, multidimensional masters, and she said the multidimensional masters have been telling me that actually, you don't need anything. She said, but I can't give you the certificate unless you have the master activation. She said, usually I make people study for 3 years or something before they can be a master. And so I'd already been told don't accept it. But anyway, I really was very, very enthusiastic to get on with it then, after being very resistant for a few years. And so I accepted it. Well, a few weeks later I was in Holland, and I was facilitating a workshop, and I'm sitting there, and I connect, and what's happening here? And I could see this Daiko, this master symbol in Reiki, surrounding me in my energy system, and it was blocking me. And then Jermaine said to me, what did I tell you? You're blocked with this now. Well, what I know now is that I could, with the access to the energy I have now, I can clear them like this. But in those days, I didn't have the same access. We're all moving forward all the time. And it was only maybe a few months after this, I was in America, in Portland, Oregon. And I was really bothered by this because it was interfering with the way I could do things. And I was looking through a New Age magazine. I think it was, I don't know what it was called, Sedona Journal of Emergence or something like this. It was a very popular magazine at the time. A lot of advertisements in the back for all kinds of things. And one of my upstairs department, Katumi's known as, been with me all my life since I was a boy, said, call this number. And I called the number, and the person on the end of the phone said, Katumi told me to expect a call from you. And he said, you have some problem with your energy system's blocked by some symbols or something. And he said, but I know how to clear it. So I said, okay, we'll keep talking and I'll do it. So it showed me personally, the reality of the situation. So I encourage people actually, not to interact with symbols, but not only Reiki symbols, but there's all kinds of symbolism around which actually affect us energetically. And so, like I said, it's quite, in some ways, a controversial subject. Yes. But I mean, mostly when you explain it to people in the seminar, most people say, yeah, okay, I understand. But we do clear them in New Paradigm at seminars, because if not, they limit the activations that we can have. You see, and in New Paradigm, the activations are actually for each individual person, from your I Am Presence of Divine Self. They're not okay, it's one size fits all over again. And if we don't sort of clear these blockages caused by the symbols in your energy system, well then really you don't, the activations don't really it's more difficult for them to take place, and because it's all energy, so some of the frequencies of energy are blocked. So that is the most simple explanation that I can think of, but I always say to people, well, if you want to hold on to your symbols, please do so. It's not for me to force you.
Sometimes people can't let go.
Yeah.
They have some attachment. If, I don't know, there are teachers that they are doing this for some times or maybe lifetimes, and they don't have the courage to go further this.
Well, this is it. I mean, but it's all part of the human journey.
Yes.
And, the human journey is, it's like I often make jokes, the human journey is free will, now or later.
Exactly. This is my intention,
Yeah.
for people to have the opportunity to hear this experience, so this perspective on things, and then they can choose in a different way, with a different awareness. So if
Sure.
they still choose to go on to Reiki, it's their choice, but still.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, life is basically about free choice.
Yes.
And I mean, some people think that I'm an anti-Reiki fundamentalist. but actually I'm not. If you want to do Reiki, do Reiki. If you want to do stand on your head yoga, well, do stand on your head yoga. I don't mind. It's all about freedom and love. And allowing people to have their own personal experience. I mean, sometimes people say to me, you're talking about things, they might say to me, well, why do you not use Shambhala energy? And I say, well, I'm not a Shambhala fundamentalist. And they say, oh, what? And they think that I should think that Shambhala or New Paradigm is the saviour of the world or something. And that's not what I think. And, we're just going through a period of time where this can assist people in freeing themselves. And I don't see it to be the be-all and end-all of everything.
Exactly. Or
You can see as well. I mean, there's often a lot of criticism of like different kinds of systems and things like this. Like people criticise me, they criticise other systems and so on. But to just go back to the original founding of Reiki, it really did a lot for a lot of people. And you can, but conversely, you can see other things like the American Hari.Das, right? ISKCON, and people say, oh well, it's like a serious cult and all this kind of thing. And of course, not very popular now, but in the 80s and all that, it's really popular. And people said, oh, people were captured by a cult and so on. But actually, the teachings of vegetarianism, the American Hare Krishna organization was responsible for bringing a huge awareness of the benefits for a lot of people of vegetarian diets and so on. See, there's always there's a reasons for...
Yes, there are purposes.
Yeah, there's
we don't
purposes.
See. Exactly.
Yeah.
People used to blame religion too, but religion has some purpose until some point. It helped me too. It helped me up to some point, and then I went on a different direction. But we can't deny everything.
No, we can't, and we can't criticise everything.
Yes.
I mean, it's like me. My parents were very devout Christians, and actually my father, well, both my father and my mother have passed on now, but my father was what we call in English a lay preacher, and so it wasn't his full-time job, but he preached in church Sunday after Sunday after Sunday when we moved back to England in Wellington, in Somerset, in southwest England, and he inspired a lot of people. But we also went to church 3 times every Sunday. So we went in the morning, and then we went to Sunday school in the afternoon, and then we went to church in the evening. But the interesting part about this is that my mother used to write my father's sermons, and he used to give them in the church. So they were a real working pair, to inspire people, and he inspired a lot of people. I mean, for me personally, even when I was young, When we lived in Ireland, when we went to church, like I was the one that had to pump the organ, you know, the bellows and the organ. So I was like kind of sat round here and nobody could see me. And then they'd sing hymns, so I'd have to. But I'd always be listening, and I'd be looking at the stained glass windows, and I'd be listening, and I found a lot of holes in the philosophy, even when I was a boy. I was thinking, this doesn't add up, this doesn't add up, this doesn't add up. But also as well, I would like to say that I have been a Christian preacher myself for a short period of time in another branch of a church that exists in England and in America too, called the Spiritualist Church. And this is a Christian church who also as well share with the people the doctrine of reincarnation, because it's been written out of the other Christian Bible, and actually do clairvoyant demonstrations in the church. In other words, give people messages from their dead grandfathers or uncles or things like this. And actually I did that for a while after I came back from India. But my I Am Presence and my Sylvie, again we'll call it the upstairs department, the multi-dimensional team that I work with, said to me, okay, so now you've had more experience of standing up and talking in front of people, and like you don't need this anymore, get out. And so I did. But yeah, actually, like I said, I used to give sermons though on taking care of each other and the planet. And I was in my early 30s at the time. The spiritualist churches are basically often like the congregation, like rather older people. I have to be careful what I say now because like I'm over 70. But they were like mostly older people. But I used to bring a lot of young people into the church, right, because of my upbeat way of looking at things and taking care of each other, taking care of the planet and everything else. So I don't have any problem like with any religion actually. And of course I lived in India. I was a Brahmin priest, a real one. And I've also studied Judaism, Islam, and I can see the truth in it. I can see the truth in all of it. Yeah, you might have to look a bit hard, but it's always there.
Yes, yes.
And there seems to be maybe some kind of like forgetfulness in the
interpretation.
Mm-hmm. And I notice now that actually the latest Pope of the Roman Catholic Church is now beginning to talk about love and love and compassion. And I see that this is like kind of a bit of a change in the, before it was like all hellfire and brimstone and judgment and so on. But I say it's all there, the truth is there in all of it, if you can see it. But this is it. One of the things I see now is that many people have abandoned religions, but they're looking for another religion to take its place.
Exactly.
And so, like kind of we have like a new age religion now, and people get fundamental over that. Yes. They still have the same kind of judgments as the old religions, but they've just changed it into different words, and now they're New Agers or whatever. For me, I think that people should be very careful of that, and don't give your power away to anything, and don't give your power away. Okay, I'm the founder of New Paradigm, but that's not the whole of my activities on planet Earth. But don't give your power away to New Paradigm or Shambhala. Don't give your power away to no teachers, no gurus. And don't give your power away to nothing. Stand in your own power, because we're everything. And and the days of giving your power away to things outside of yourself are over. At one time, maybe it was constructive. I mean, I also as well had a guru in India, and I did everything that he told me to, because, well, if I didn't, he'd throw me out of the ashram. That's the way it was then. Very strict. But he gave me a lot of realizations, so on. But the thing was, it was always like, the guru will save you. Only through the guru can you communicate with God and all this. And it's the same in the other religions. It's only through the priests. And even if you go back before that into paganism and so on, it was just like the leaders who could communicate with the spirits of the earth and the spirits of the ancestors, and the rest of you, okay, you're kind of all stuck, and we're the ones that can do it. But now I see that all that needs to be turned on its head. And I have this joke, the word guru, G-U-R-U, G, you are you.
Yeah.
That is the modern interpretation for me of the word guru. Gee, you are you. So we're our own gurus.
Yes.
We don't need anybody else. I mean, I don't see that, personally, I don't see that through my activities that, that you should do everything that I say. And sometimes I make jokes, and I say, don't even believe a word of what I say. Don't believe anything I said. I know one woman, I said this in a workshop once in the late 90s, and it was only 2 or 3 years ago, the woman came to me and said, it's taken me years to understand what you said.
Yes, it's true. It's true.
She said, you said don't believe a word of what you said. I said, yeah, check it out for yourself. This is the thing. That for me with New Paradigm, it kind of, okay, it assists people in becoming free, but you have to do it. It's not a question of, like in the old days with some kind of initiation or whatever, okay, so that's it, you're all set now, and everything's all right. Like this, New Paradigm, multidimensional transformation, to me it's like setting you on your path and assisting you in understanding that there's something different. And the way you relate to it is up to you, because you're an individual.
Yes.
We're all one ultimately, but the way we are in third dimensional reality, we're individual, we're all having an individual experience. And some people choose to take the fast train home, and other people buy a ticket. The train stops at every station. So in other words, have adventure after adventure after an adventure. And some people say, yeah, I get it. I'm going to go there.
You told us at some moment in a seminar that in the beginning Germaine told you that this is the way straight home, no delays.
Yeah.
And I could not understand then, but I understand now what it means, this straight way home.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of things trying to put you out of your way.
Yeah.
But if you center and present, you go straight your way.
That's right. But again, it's all individual choice. So if you want to have some adventures on the way, believe me, I know about adventures on the way. I sometimes make jokes about denial. When people ask me about denial, I always say, yeah, if you could get PhDs in denial, I would have numerous. Because that's the way it is. And of course it doesn't always translate into other languages, but I often say to people, remember, denial is a long river in Egypt.
Yeah.
Denial, yeah. And once you get in denial, the crocodiles will start snapping at your ass, you know.
Yes.
But I mean, it's great to have some humour in everything as well.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like mostly religion, there's no humour in it. Everything is like also serious. The practitioners think you have to be serious. The preachers are serious. It's like, you know, we have to have humour and we have to learn to laugh at ourselves. Sometimes in seminars, actually you can see it on my YouTube channel, Laughing Meditation with Guan Yin.
We had one here, so precious.
Yeah, it's, and I remember when we did that, that was in Paris in the late 90s, and there was a lot of people in the seminar, a lot of very serious people, and Guan Yin said to me, come on, let's do something about this. And it was really interesting that when I said breathe out and laugh, a few people but in the end everybody was roaring on the floor, and like Guan Yin was like, don't give up, keep going. And so like we've got to learn to have humour, and you know, we can make fun of ourselves and our own idiosyncrasies when we see them, you know, like, God, that is so funny. I was behaving like that, or like that was like my philosophy then. Okay, laugh about it. No, let's forget the judgment. Let's forget the judgment and let's love. Let's have compassion and forgive. And let's start with ourselves first.
Yeah. I have a last question for you.
Okay.
People feel to do a lot of meditations and healing, sending to earth. How do you think we can support better earth?
Well, again, often I stir up controversy over this, and a lot of people are saying, oh, we have to heal Mother Earth and all this. Well, as a channeler, I have a connection with the consciousness of Mother Earth and the goddess Gaia. And Mother Earth will tell you, number one, I am not a victim. Just the same as you are not a victim. Mother Earth, I am not a victim. And so as soon as people start this idea, oh, we have to heal Mother Earth, like all they're trying to do is instill victim consciousness in Mother Earth. And of course, like I'm not saying they're stupid or but they're actually being very judgmental. Without realizing it, of course. Like they don't realize that it's like if I say to you, hey Anisoara, like, you need healing. But how judgmental is that? It's extremely judgmental. And, yeah, you might say, I'm very happy with my lip, thank you. So when it comes to this, actually we should work with Mother Earth, or we should, like work is not really the right word, but we should interact with Mother Earth in a conscious interaction. And Mother Earth will always say, I will accept energy, but I won't accept it in victimhood, and don't judge me. So I encourage people to actually have conscious interaction with Mother Earth. And also as well, another thing, you know, I do trips all over the world and have done for years, and one thing I know about my interactions with the energy points, the sacred places, so on, like everywhere has like keepers or dealers. And another thing that some humans do is they come charging like a bull in a china shop, as we say in English, into these places. Like, it's always, it's all negative. and we have to do this, and we have to do this, and the devas are like, what are they doing, these crazy people? And so humans often think they're superior, and that they know better. And but of course, I've realised this because, I've been there. I've been there, and I haven't behaved in this manner until I understood that actually it's not in harmony and balance. So I encourage people to actually interact with Mother Earth in a loving way. There's no, how can you say to Mother Earth you need healing? Is the Earth sick? No, she's not sick.
Yeah, she's not sick.
She's a living, breathing being. She's supporting us all.
Yes. If we don't do any harm, there will be no harm.
Yeah, exactly. And I do have another joke that sums this up. Sometimes people ask me all kinds of questions, right? They think I know everything. Which is a really big mistake. And some people say to me, "Oh, John, will there ever be peace on Earth?" And I always give the same reply, of course there will. And from my heart, I hope the humans will still be here to see it. But humans should listen to that because humanity is destroying it. It's on its own path of self-destruction. Although, humanity would sooner judge the whales or the dolphins or some other species who have decided to leave the planet because their job is done, and actually destroy themselves without thinking. They're destroying the atmosphere, they're polluting the water, they're further irradiating the planet, all the other kind of human activities that they do. And in fact they're not destroying the earth, but they're destroying their own environment, but they don't see it.
Yes, they don't see it.
It's because they think that everything's for humans, but it isn't. We're here, we're all species, we're all one, and we're all having the adventure. So that is my understanding of that piece of it. I don't really have anything else to say on the subject, except please take care of each other. And if you said to me, do you have a message for the people of Romania?
Yes, I wanted to ask you to say something for people in Romania.
Well, I've got nothing to say to the people in Romania. But I do have something to say to the people of planet Earth. And what I have to say to the people of planet Earth is that actually you live on a very abundant planet in an abundant universe, and there's enough of everything for everybody, so please learn to share. And presently there's only one Earth, although there is many other inhabitable and habitable worlds in creation, but there's only one Earth that we live on. So please take care and be gentle with her. And actually, there's only one source, or what people might call one God. Please stop arguing over the name. And that is what I have to say.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this interview, for this message, and for this sharing you did from your heart with all of us.
Well, it's my pleasure. Thank you, Anisoara. Thanks for inviting me to do it. And maybe just with our interactions we can assist people to take another step forward, or just encourage them to think about it.
Yeah, I hope so, because sometimes just a word or some idea can change something in somebody's heart.
Yeah, and this is it. Let's live from our hearts instead of our ego, and it's one love.